Okay. All right. So we are live.
Amazing.
Hello.
Excited.
Yeah. All
Hey,
right.
Akim.
Hey,
Nice seeing
Jules.
you.
Yeah, nice seeing you too. It's been a while, man. The COVID has been keeping everyone out the office.
Yeah, exactly. I don't go in as often. It's not the same just being on Zoom, obviously, with
Yeah,
everyone.
no.
But
So yeah, I mean, everybody, this is Jules. Jules, let's introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are. Where where do you work? What office are we at? Just a few details for those who don't know.
sure, sounds good. My name is Jules Borbely. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Oxford Property Group. We have about 800 real estate agents. We are in New York City. That's where the headquarters is, but we do have offices in a few other locations as well. We have known each other for a few years now. We
Yeah.
worked on a few sales transactions together, and I'm just happy to be your number one guest.
Yeah. Yeah, this is exciting, man. I've been wanting to do this podcast for a while.
Yeah, nice.
I just haven't had the system down packed. But I figured, I'll fail forward and I'll figure it out as I go. Iron things out
Nice.
as I get into it.
Happy to be
So
the first one to test it out. But so far, it looks promising. I like it.
thank you.
I love
Yeah.
the stuff.
So everybody, I have heard Jules. I've heard about Jules before I even met Jules. So when I first
Funny.
started in Manhattan, like the first agency I was at was in Keene Realty. And I guess as he left and I got in, it was probably like really, really close in time because people were like, "Oh yeah, we had this guy Jules here. He was training us. He was crazy. He would do like $20,000 in rentals in 1 month," and everyone was just talking about um, how skilled you were at closing deals. So I was just like, "Who is this guy? Who is this guy?" Then I had met with Clay, and Clay had told me about you. And then when he
Nice.
happened to do his first deal, that's when I met you in Manhattan for the first time. And I think you know where, but we'll leave that off here.
Where did we
So
meet? I forgot. Where did we actually meet?
we
Where was
actually
it?
met in a strip club when Clay closed his first
Oh,
deal.
wow. That sounds
Yeah,
inappropriate.
yeah.
which is, which is funny because that's not actually something that I do. I'm not just saying this. Literally, I think there was probably one time in my life that I
Yeah,
went to a strip club,
yeah.
and
That was my first time
I think
also in Manhattan.
that was with Clay actually. I think yes, I remember
Yeah,
now. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I think we're off
yeah.
to a good start here.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah,
funny.
that was a good party. Yeah, man, it was great. Like so, uh, by the time you got to Oxford, like how many years were you in the business already?
This is a funny question. People keep asking me how long I've been in real estate, and I just genuinely don't know. So I always say that it's either I say 8 years. These days I started saying 10. I think it's approximately 10 years. But the truth is, when I started in real estate, it was a little bit different than a lot of what it is now. I was
Mm.
full, and I probably got my friends for one summer. I wasn't licensed yet.
Yeah,
And I was just kind of like a showing agent. They sent me out. I met up with clients. I showed apartments, but I couldn't do more. It actually wasn't allowed that I do more. So that was my
yeah,
first taste of real estate, just one summer. And back 10 years ago, you could actually just work for a few months and make enough money to kind of take winter off. At least that's what
yeah.
the guys were doing that I was working for. They work hard and then they took off winter.
Oh, that sounds like a dream.
Yeah, I know that's not really possible anymore. That's just
Yeah,
that's not the market we live in, unfortunately.
yeah. And the friends that you were helping, like, they were all in Manhattan.
The deals that I was doing, you said?
Yeah, like when you first started, you were helping your friends out. Were they
Yes, they
all
were in.
Manhattan?
Yes, they were in the city. They actually had an office at the Empire State Building on like 67th floor, corner office. Really, really small office, but it was nice to tell clients that if you would like to stop by the Empire State Building,
Mhm.
nobody was ever asking us for the address. Obviously, even if you're not from New York, the Empire State Building, you can, look up and find it. So that was pretty cool. And they were just amazing at what they did. So I enjoyed it. And quite honestly, my cut, I believe, was 20%. That was my commission, but it was
Mhm.
still substantial. I was still making good money. I was happy when I worked with them.
Wow. So when did you make that jump to get into like luxury sales, like the luxury sales market?
I actually made that jump after Keon Realty. I was a rental manager there, helping brand new agents learn rentals and closing, renting apartments. The reality of that was that although we were signing leases every day, it wasn't particularly challenging after a while. It's I have seen a lot of scenarios already, and it was kind of like the same problem, same clients, same agents, same learning curve, same everything. And I just felt that I reached what I could with rentals. And I'm not saying I cannot learn more, because it's genuinely in real estate. You, you always learn something new. Every single day, I'm like, wow, I've never seen this before. Even today, I had some situations where I'm like, I don't understand what's happening here. We had an agent who reached out to us that he has a buyer. He made an offer that was accepted, and they signed a contract. And he's aware of the fact that we showed him the apartment 6 months ago, and that's what he's buying now with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why are you telling this to us? I'm like, are you telling us that we should claim some of the commission? I'm like, I don't understand what the purpose of this email is. You just want us to feel bad that we showed it and you're getting paid. So like every day you learn something. But the switch, just going back to your question, the switch was after Keon Real Estate. I felt that the next step in my career was getting into sales. And when you're a manager at a company and you're helping, dozens of agents doing rentals, it's just really hard to say that, hey, I'm doing my own thing now. I'm doing sales. Don't ask me any questions. I'm not a manager anymore. I enjoyed Keon and I wanted to stay, but I knew that agents would be, because they had over 200 agents at the time and they knew that I was a manager. I know that agents would be like, hey, Jules, I know you are not a manager, but can I still ask you for advice? Hey, can you help with this? I just knew it wouldn't stop. So I just felt the need to switch. So I joined a different company. I joined Oxford Property Group, and I started focusing on sales.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, by the time that actually is really how it happened for me. So like I was at Keon for a while, and no fault to them. Like it was really just myself. Like I had to really like look at my own business and say I need to do something different. And I didn't really find the guidance at Keon to do sales. And everyone was everyone that used to come in the office was kind of like leaving the office and going to Oxford. And a couple of my friends had went over to Oxford. So I was like, well, let me give them a try. And then,
I remember that period of time when a lot of agents from Keon came over to Oxford. Obviously, we were similar companies. It just seemed like maybe Oxford can offer more in terms of sales and, just growth maybe at that time. So
and
I remember
it was like as soon as I got into Oxford, that's when you guys started the Zillow program. So I thought to myself, wow, I made the switch just in time, So you guys did the Zillow program, and we started working on that. But before we get into that story, how much could you tell us about the Adam Levine sale when you were doing the condo there?
Yes, it's actually one of my favorite stories or favorite things to tell or even think of. That if you ask me about what I'm the most proud of, or what I'm most excited about that I have done, it's probably that transaction, selling his apartment. Because it's an interesting and funny story also. The way I got started in sales is very simple. First of all, I started buying Zillow leads, which we get into later. But the other thing I did is going over to Oxford and making the decision that I'm going to do sales. I don't know anything about sales, but I feel like it seems like you can make more money with sales instead of doing rentals. So that was really my drive, or that was the reason behind making the switch. So what I did is I went to the owner of Oxford Property Group. I literally knocked on his door. We're talking about Adam. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, Adam, you don't know me. My name is Jules, and I would like to do sales. He's like, okay. And I told him I have zero experience. He's like, all right, I have a listing in Chelsea. If you want, you can show it. I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, sure. So he's like, all right, meet me on Sunday, 3 p.m. He gave me the address. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting paid for this. I'm like, I don't even care. I want the experience. This is amazing. I don't know what it is. So it turned out the apartment was more than $3 million. It was, 3.5 or $3.7 million. And I was like, Adam, I've never done sales. Like, I wasn't thinking that this would be my first apartment that I'm representing the seller, and maybe I should start at 500,000 or something reasonable.
yeah.
Like, I don't mess up this one. So he's like, no, it's fine. I'll tell you. I'm just going to teach you. I'll tell you everything you need to know. So I didn't exactly sell that apartment right away. It took us, I think, more than a year. But that was the beginning of me and Adam working together. We ended up losing that listing. We got it back. Then we sold it over asking price. It was a long and complicated transaction, but it led us to do more transactions together. One thing followed another. We sold this one. Then a friend came along. He wanted to buy. Somebody wanted to sell. And then one day, Adam told me that, hey, we're getting this. We have a new listing that I want you to show and sell. He's like, it's Adam Levine's apartment. I'm like, am I supposed to know who Adam Levine is? I'm like, wait, I'm like, the singer? He's like, yeah, the singer, Maroon 5. I'm like, oh my God, really? He's like, yeah. So they set me up. I got the keys. We took pictures, listed the apartment. And I didn't have a lot of experience at that time. So, this was all new to me. And the difference when you deal with celebrities or famous people is the attention that you get. You
Yeah.
cannot really make mistakes with the listing. If you screw something up, then people will point it out. There were articles about the listing. They use the pictures that I took. The funny thing is we prepared the apartment for the pictures, right? We moved things around to make it look better. I put some things on the bed, removed things from the bed. I put some robes in the bathroom. And the next thing I know is, like, 2 weeks later, I see an article about Adam Levine that he has matching robes with his wife. And I'm like, I put them in there to make the picture look better. Or like,
Oh my
oh,
goodness.
he must love this movie because he has a pillow on his bed. And I was like, I put it there. I don't even know if, like, I found it in the closet because it looked better. And like,
Wow.
I was thinking, like, wow, this must be a crazy life. Like, people pay attention to all these details, and like, he had nothing to do with it,
Yeah.
maybe he didn't even know that he had that pillow. You never know. And I put it on his bed, and then people were like, oh, he must be a big fan. The other thing that was interesting is the clients. Once it was published that it's his apartment, and we had to ask for his approval that we can actually say that it's his apartment, which was hard to hide because the apartment was full of pictures and guitars, and like, anybody Adam not real buyers. I had these young girls come in, and they were like, I don't know, 18 years old, and the apartment was $5.5 million, which is fine. It's a possibility. But when they looked around, and they wanted to take pictures of everything. And then also they were like, so is this apartment for rent? I'm like,
Oh,
no,
what?
it's I'm like, look, I know you're not a real buyer, but I'm like, it's fine. Just look around. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just make sure not to touch anything. Like, I don't want anything stolen. Like, maybe you want a souvenir, and I don't want you to get carried away. Like, you can
Yeah.
look, it's fine, do your thing, but if a real buyer comes, then I will have to ask you to leave.
Wow.
So yeah, it was an amazing experience. I enjoyed it, and we did not deal with him directly on this transaction. I guess one thing you should know about famous people is they want to spend their time in, time is limited for everyone. They want to spend it in the best way possible. meaning they don't want to deal with these kinds of things like signing contracts, or they don't want to be inconvenienced. For example, there was a time when I was showing the apartment. Each time I had to tell his management that, hey, I'm going to be there Saturday 3 p.m. There was one time when they called me 20 minutes before the appointment that, hey, you need to cancel it. He's at home. Like, that's not like really good to tell a $5.5 million buyer that I know you're on your way, but just sorry, it's just not happening today. But it was one of those things that that him being at home doing whatever was more important than selling the apartment, for example. And also, like, whatever we requested, we asked for extra lights, we asked them to remove some items because they had a lot of clothes and blah blah blah. He had people for everything, so that was amazing. Whatever we asked for, they did it immediately. There was someone in charge. So it's although we never interacted directly, to me it's it's a good sign that how responsive they were, how nice they were, how much they trusted us with pricing and everything. So it just showed me that they did have a good operation. Like, his management was really on top of everything.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's great. You always hear that. Like, people always say, oh, celebrities, they're so nice. They're so, like, they're not what you expect them to be. So it's good that, you actually hear it firsthand.
Exactly. We had, I can't say anything negative about the experience or just interacting with them, selling it. They were reasonable in terms of the offers we got, the showings and everything. The only thing really just like what I said, that if he was there, which only happened once, then they just told me not to show it. But otherwise, for example, I had his keys in my pocket. Like, in theory, I had 24/7 access to the apartment. So they, and this happened without us actually ever meeting or knowing each other. You know what I mean? So there was a trust there, which was amazing.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah,
that is great. So, like, you found your way into sales by, I guess, like, by mentorship from Adam, and so for someone else who's an agent who wants to do sales in Manhattan, like, what would be the best way for a newbie to get access to luxury sales? Would it just be that route, like getting mentorship?
Yes, that would be my first recommendation. If you can join a team, someone that's successful, I would check the chemistry, make sure you like them. You're going to spend a lot of time together. If you join a team, you will see these people, these agents, brokers, all day, every day. You're going to have all kinds of situations, challenges, disappointments. Some deals will be really stressful. You need someone with experience who can guide you. And like I said, when I studied in real estate, my commission was 20%. That sounds horrible, but it's not so bad when you're, that doesn't sound so impressive. Wow, 20%, I'm going to be making so much money. But when you actually know how good those agents were that I was working with, they were making tens of thousands every month. So this 20% wasn't bad at all. I would actually, if I would start my career again, I would do it again. I would agree to working with these guys. They had, experience, things. They were amazing with clients. So I would definitely join a team. That would be my recommendation. Join a team, someone that you love, someone that has experience, and just learn. If you figure it out on your own, it's going to cost you a lot of time, a lot of money. Even though you feel that you might be able to give 100%, it's just not worth it. You need to learn things the right way, I think. And when you are ready, you can start your own team, you can do your own thing, whatever that might be.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I think when the time that I joined you guys' team with the Zillow team, that was definitely the most experience I got with sales since I started my real estate career. Like, it wasn't a super long time, but it was like a lot of information, a lot of experience, especially getting into sales with clients who were trying to buy in markets that I've never even rented an apartment in. Showing stuff down in Tribeca or Chelsea or Astoria. So
exactly. Yeah, we like to my method is just kind of, I don't know if you have this expression in English, but you kind of throw people in the deep water and let them figure out how to swim. Like, I'm not afraid to do that, to give people kind of a chance to like don't stress about it. You have to do it to really understand it and figure it out. Like, regardless of how much time you would spend speaking like this, I can't prepare you for sales in New York City. I just can't, because clients can be demanding, clients can be impatient, they can be super nice. There are so many scenarios that you just need to do it. And then, if you run into something, like, you can ask me, you can ask your mentor, whoever you're working with, but you have to do it. Like, that's the only way. There's only so much you can prepare for.
Yeah, 100%. And how did it work with you guys, with the team? Like, I'm not on the team anymore, but what's your opinion on buying Zillow leads? I remember before you had told a story when you guys were first launching the program, that you took $20,000 and just invested it in leads, and that's how you just started running, hitting the ground running. Like, do you still recommend that?
Do I recommend it? I mean, if I look at where we are right now, it seems like it was a good decision. We do a lot in sales. The team is huge. So yes, I guess in theory I would recommend it. There are a lot of lessons that we learned. So the first thing I would tell anyone starting with Zillow is to join someone experienced. Like, same thing again, like I said before, you need to learn it from someone who's familiar with it and knows exactly what they are doing, because it is tricky. It's not easy. I would say it's really hard, actually. It's really hard to convert leads in general, these internet, email leads, whatever you get. And it's no different for Zillow. The other problem or challenge is that it's extremely expensive. Zillow leads can cost $600, $700, $800 for one phone call. And, you feel the pressure. It's $800 for that one call. You better sell something to those people. So it's stressful. You don't want to mess it up. So it's best to join a team that kind of mastered these type of leads. And I guess that's who we are, to be honest. At least that's how I feel about the team.
Okay, great. So with Zillow right now, they actually became a brokerage now.
Correct.
So in a way, they're not a brokerage in New York City yet, but do you think Zillow becoming a brokerage in New York City will affect the market drastically? Like, how do you see that affecting your career or your business when it comes to Zillow and StreetEasy becoming your competition?
Yes, so I'm actually not concerned about this at all myself. The reason is that I think what Zillow is doing, they can make so much more money than brokerages. If you look at how much profit these companies turn in New York, I think it's just too much headache, not enough profit for what they are trying to do to actually become a brokerage with agents. Like, I cannot see Zillow having an office with hundreds of agents in there. I just think the business that they are in is better in a sense that, like I said, they can sell one phone call for $800. Like, I don't think you can do better than that, especially that they are a public company. I think the kind of looking for is probably not the traditional real estate firms, probably not that model. So I don't think that's a threat. I think what they are trying to do is get more accurate listings on their websites. I think part of the reason why they are becoming licensed is just to get access to that data. They can join an MLS and all that stuff. I don't think they will end up with agents, although I know in some markets, some states, they do have licensed agents under their broker license. But it has more to do with I think it's called the iBuyer program, where they end up, where Zillow buys houses and sells them. I think for that model, they needed to have agents in-house so these agents can represent Zillow when they buy, when they sell, just to keep more of the money to make this business a little more profitable for this department for them. So I'm not concerned about Zillow. I think just knowing how much we pay for the leads as a team, I think they will stick to that, selling these leads, because the challenge for them that I see being problematic, that if they end up with their own agents, then all the other agents like you or me, why would we give them our listings when they just post it and keep the lead for themselves, and they,
Yeah.
they represent the buyer or whatever. So it's just wouldn't make sense anymore to share the listing data with them if they are a competitor.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was just
Yeah.
thinking. Well, I was telling people that months ago when they first made the announcement, and I told them they make way more money off of us paying them to
Yeah.
advertise and also paying for the leads
Exactly.
than they would if they sold it.
Like imagine them cutting off the Zillow Premier Agent program, getting rid of it. Hundreds of millions of dollars would be lost immediately.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they need to have hundreds, if not thousands, of offices throughout the United States. Tens of thousands of agents. It's just a whole different business. Zillow is an online company. Not what we do. I think it's just very different. I don't think they will make that switch. What I do think about the future, though, is that I think traditional firms, and by traditional firms, I mean companies that do like 50-50 kind of splits, I think they are facing a challenge because with all the online tools that we have, it's just easier for agents to do everything themselves. So the value of the services that these companies provide, I think it's shrinking. It's hard to justify doing 50-50 anymore. When you can join a company like Oxford, you keep 100% of your commission, and you can do everything. I really don't see what we cannot do that these other traditional companies are offering.
Yeah, exactly. And I also I think the same thing. I think that the traditional companies with the 50-50 model, the only agents that are gonna attract are brand new agents who feel that they need that support and that training. But when it comes to someone who's doing sales or staying afloat, there's no reason for you to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we're actually very aware of this, that the training that's needed. So this is something that we're working on at Oxford too, to provide an incredible rental and sales training, because there's nothing stopping us from doing it. So if we can offer that too, it just makes us a lot more competitive.
Yeah. So what is that in the works now? Like, is that something that you would be in charge of as a COO, like doing trainings and like where's the future of Oxford going?
Yeah, so it's something we do with Adam, things we think about. I think our goal is, and I can say this, is to be a company where everybody can go. Like we offer something for everyone, whether you are someone who's not licensed yet, you just started going to school, maybe you're not even going to school yet, whether you're someone with 25 years of experience. I want to have packages, programs, trainings for everyone. So there's literally nobody that we need to turn away from Oxford, like just to be the company that, regardless of your experience level, where you are in your career, you can come and join us and we'll offer something valuable for you.
I'm an agent there and I didn't even know that. So, I'm glad that we got to talk.
There are limitations. Every company has limitations. If you want to do commercial real estate, you want to you need to agents pick companies according to what they want. We're trying to really expand what Oxford can do for agents. So that's something that we're actively working on to have these training programs, have these teams in place. The team that I'm running is part of this also. If you are an experienced agent, you want to do sales, you have the experience, you just don't have the money to invest, you don't have the roadmap, you don't have the how to, then it's something that you can join. You can let us know that this is something you would be interested in. And I'm not saying we add everybody to the team, because obviously it's expensive for us as well. But we try at least to provide opportunities for agents.
Yeah, like even when it came to me with being on the team, I think one thing that I took away from it was to be a better agent. Like for me, the thing I failed at mostly was the follow up and the follow through and staying on top of it. I was still in that rental mindset where it was like, all right, I showed you some places, you made an offer, they said no, and then we kind of just moved on. You know, so but now
follow up is extremely
it's
important.
exactly where the money's at, and staying with your clients until you get to the end of the deal. You know? So,
exactly. But even that, there are so many tools available, CRMs, all kinds of systems you can set up to stay in touch. All kinds of reminders you can do for yourself. So even that became easier with technology.
Yeah. So when it comes to Oxford being compared to other companies, like you guys are offering a mentorship program also? I think someone mentioned that in the office that there was like a mentorship program. Or was that the team that you're referring to?
We are looking to launch soon that's going to be different than what we have right now. So we currently have a rental training program. For sales, it would mostly be the whole team where we can develop agents and help them learn and grow. But we're just looking to make it a lot more structured, a lot more accessible for everyone. That's basically the goal. More support, more leads, more guidance, kind of is what we try to achieve.
It's amazing. Awesome. I mean,
we're trying. I think you see some of the emails I send out about, new services, floor plans, videos. We're trying. Quite honestly, it was a rough year for everyone in 2020. So we're really just trying to make up for it, offer tools to make up for it in 2021. It wasn't easy for anyone, not just because, the main thing, we were shut down. There's nothing we can do about that. If you're not allowed to do business, it's hard to rent apartments. They hard to make money. So that happened to every single real estate agent in New York City. So hopefully 2021 will be much different and more successful.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about it. Like, I have other things that I was lucky that I was already kind of getting into mortgages when the pandemic happened. Like, literally, I had my test on the 19th of March, and I believe the city shut down on the 16th, something like that. It was like within a day or two, I was just like, wow. So I ended up having to wait till August to take my test and become licensed.
Yeah, but, nice.
Doing mortgages and trying to be a realtor at the same time, like, you notice the balance is extremely rare to balance both. And
I think we spoke about this too, that it is going to be a little bit of a challenge. But it's not impossible at all.
I mean, other people who are doing it, but they were doing it like in California. There's one guy was doing it for like 8 years, and he's like, "Oh, I get 4.5% on every deal," because he structures it to get paid from doing a loan and being their agent.
But there you go. That's a model you can copy.
Yeah, right. Like, so, I was like, as long as I stick to only selling condos, because it's really rare to do FHA with a condo. So that was where that's where my head has been on how to get that done like that. So
nice.
Yeah, man. Well, I think this is about the end of our time, but I'm so glad that you came on and that we were able to have this talk. And I'm gonna put the recording out in the podcast form for sure. So it'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're streaming live on YouTube right now, so it's gonna be on the YouTube channel. And
amazing.
It's gonna be a great first episode. Thank you so much, Jules.
You are very welcome, Hakeem. I hope to see you soon.
Yes, see you around. I'll probably see you in the office tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. See you.
All right. Bye. Bye-bye.